Zack Snyder. How long has it been? What, just 2 years since I last talked about your zombie movie that you did that was also Netflix affiliated that so many, so many dumb people loved. Oh, and not too long after that, well, actually, not too long before that, you had the Snyder Cut released. You know, that movie that essentially was cut up into parts and was super long. And for some reason, given all the credit of what the movie you originally intended was supposed to be, even though there is nothing but a bunch of proof that the movie that you were going to release was in fact what it was that Josh Whedon got the blame for. Oh, Zachary. Oh, let us also not forget you did Sucker Punch, and but you're mainly credited and acclaimed for doing 300. A great movie, by the way, great movie. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that you know you didn't write that. But the other things you wrote, they're all terrible. Hmm. I wonder if there's some connection there. Some weird little coinky dink that just stands out to everybody and everyone, and why Rebel Moon would get pandered so badly as such a bad film. Who knows? Oh wait, I do. Because you can't write. You cannot write. Rebel Moon has got to be one of the worst movies I have seen in a long fucking while. And all that I can tell you that I grasped from it as soon as I saw it was,
Hey, remember Star Wars? What if you could watch Star Wars again?
but the thing is that it's more than just Star Wars. It was Star Wars, the relationship between Gamora and Thanos from Endgame, or Infinity War, if you will. Both of them really doesn't matter. Skip it. You had fucking Seven Samurai or the Magnificent Seven, uh, as well as Dune. All of those things wrapped up together sounds like it could be an interesting, fun, awesome movie. If someone competent enough was capable of making it, then it could have. But what you get with Rebel Moon has got to be one of the most inconsistently dumb, poorly written, terrible character driven, predictable globs of nonsense I have seen in a long, long time. This movie is by all means and all accounts bad. This is a bad movie. All right. This isn't something to where it's like, all right, you can, people are cherry picking what it is that they want to sit there and talk about and be very facetious about. No, this movie is bad. It takes concepts from other movies that are actually successful or incredibly popular, and then it performs them terribly. Almost as if the person who decided to make them or do what they were doing didn't understand what it was that he was stealing from. And I say stealing because he didn't borrow or he didn't learn anything. He didn't make an improvement. He stole something, mushed it together, and then made just glob. If you take all your Play-Doh and you clump it together and you just keep mixing it and mixing it, then it turns out gray and disgusting. And you don't want to play with it no more. Because Play-Doh is fun when it's colorful. But once it becomes this gray blob, gross. That's what Zack Snyder made. He made a gray blob. So the movie isn't really, it's really not hard to summarize it because it's the exact same plot of of Seven Samurai or the Magnificent Seven. If you happen to be from America, but it's a small town about to get overrun by a big thing, more powerful, more stronger. And then someone goes off onto a journey to find people who are willing to fight to save the town, even though the town doesn't have that much money, doesn't have that many resources, but the people would see in their hearts that it would be okay for them to protect the people. Now, the element of doom that is going to take from, I'm pretty sure you're going to get that a lot more within the sequel movie, considering the fact that it actually has the locals of the town or the village or whatever training to fight against the imperial regime coming to destroy and attack them, which obviously seems to be very timely placed. Give them enough time to train up and be able to fight back, despite the fact that you made it aware that the main bad guy knows that his daughter, apparently the most wanted criminal in the, according to the Empire, is at a location, and they don't immediately go there and fucking kill him. Yeah, but that's the sequel. That's the sequel movie, so the review for the sequel movie would be something totally different. But this is just going off the cusp of the trailer that came out from the sequel itself. But yeah, you have that element going on there, and then essentially you, for some reason, have bad lightsabers. You have an alien world that is just bland, boring, and stupid. There's nothing significant or interesting about what it is that you're showing, despite the fact that all you're doing is copying Star Wars. You're going to places, and those places are only known for a thing, just one thing. Ironically enough, with Star Wars, they're actually memorable places that people were interested in. They wanted to see more about. It had involvement to the plot. It actually mattered over the fact that they were here, there, and anywhere. And I don't even like Star Wars, and I understand that concept. While as with this, and it's like, all right, we're on this weird, dusty, dirty planet looking for a lady that wants revenge against the Empire. Okay, why? I don't know. She's just here. Okay, why would she agree to talk to us? Well, we just cut to us talking to her. Why? Why would she then agree to be okay with following us? Do we give a reason as to why she would want to join up with us? Well, we supposed to know that she wants revenge. Yet she gives a speech about the dangers of wanting revenge, considering the fact that she killed a spider thing that was all about revenge. Is that supposed to be some type of symbolism or something like that? Well, obviously the bitch is gonna die in the next movie, and it's supposed to seem sad or something. But realistically, this is still stupid. You gave a gladiatorial standpoint for where the black guy was at. That's this general or whatever that led armies against the Empire, but for some reason now he's this washed up has-been living in a gladiatorial standpoint, just fighting over and over again. Did they have to challenge and fight against someone or beat him in order to prove that they can get him? No, the main girl just gave a rousing speech and then he decided to join. Was there any reason he was stuck at the gladiatorial tournaments? Does he have to fight to earn his freedom, or he's paying off a debt or something like that? No, he's just there. They just came there, someone pointed him out, then they talked to him, and then he decided to come with them. And that's the bulk of the fucking movie. That's basically all that they do. Hell, characters are introduced and then just put into the wayside, and they don't even get lines throughout the rest of the movie until the very end of the fucking movie. And it's so unbelievably bad that it was so obvious that a character was essentially going to betray the main character, because I realized, I was like, no one else has spoken except for him for like 45 minutes. He hasn't talked to anyone else yet. For some reason, he's being very somber with the main character. He's going to betray her because there's no reason to try and justify their relationship, because you gave nothing else to showcase that they have a relationship to begin with, aside from one that only would be established in order to be betrayed. Which is, again, a card. That's just a huge red flag that you're dealing with something that's poorly written. And that's all Zack Snyder is. He's a bad writer. He's a very bad writer. Now, the movie itself, like I said, like, there's so much inconsistency and unnecessary stuff. You can tell that a majority of things are things that he probably thought like, oh no, this will be very significant or interesting in the sequel. Or, oh no, this is all questions that will probably get answered in the sequel. And again, that's a horrible way to look at to make a movie. You can have that mindset. In fact, you can make your movie entirely that, and there would be nothing wrong with it if it was done well. There's nothing wrong with having a movie that just kind of eggs you on to the finale and you got like a 3-parter or something like that going on. You can do that if it actually works, if it's consistent, if it's coherent, if it's actually engaging. If I'm happy with like if I'm happy being edged on and then it not satisfy me at the end and I just want more. That's what makes TV shows fucking good. So if you do that with a movie, it's not that it can't be done, it just has to be done well. This movie cannot do that. It's not that it can't do it well, it cannot do that. It made absolutely no fucking sense from start to finish how anything transpired in the correct way. I don't understand any character's motivation, their concept, their reason for being. Hell, they barely spend 2 minutes speaking with the main character, yet I know about all the fucking slow-mo shots they want to give. I know about the different fucking areas that they wanted to showcase and all these weird-ass camera angles and whatnot and all this ridiculous overblown orchestras being played throughout the movie. All of that is done within the sense of copying everything else that has done that within movies, which is why Rebel Moon has this unbearably terrible concept where, like, realistically, if you're speaking like this, like, just bear with me right now. If you speak with anyone who says that they like this movie, I need you to understand that they don't know their ass from their mouth. Now, I say that to be mean, but on a technical standpoint, this movie has multiple elements in it that would trick you into thinking that it's a good movie, because there are things that you have seen in actual good movies, but the movie itself does not portray those moments well. They do not handle those moments in a significant manner to actually make that moment be a meaningful moment. And then the writing itself cannot hold up what it is that you're seeing, nor does the special effects or the actor or the actions or the actors, for that matter, in those moments actually hold up what it is that you're seeing. They're just random intervals of basically crazy 2001 Space Odyssey shots with ridiculous slow motion, which is a staple of Zack Snyder. And it's all done in a way to make you think, oh, this is an epic and wonderfully shot moment. But when you think about what the moment entails, what it is that's transpiring, what it is that you're seeing, and what is supposed to be understood about this moment, it does not have any significance. It does not have any actual impact. To pull from Star Wars again, I do not like Star Wars, but to pull from Star Wars again, in the beginning of Star Wars, there's a part where Luke Skywalker is looking over the sunset on Tatooine. And when he's looking over the sunset, it's him thinking about and talking about his dream of wanting to actually get out into the world and see the galaxy. Because his life has only been stuck on Tatooine, but he's always desired to do more. He felt like he deserves to do more. He wants to do more. There's a long shot of seeing the sunset over Tatooine with the epic music of Star Wars being played in the background. And it's an iconic shot and an iconic moment for that character because of what happens within Star Wars. So it's not that it's a wasted moment or it's something that's unbelievably ridiculous or overdrawn or anything like that. It's significant to the character, to the moment, to the movie. I think I thought of that part when I saw in Rebel Moon the dude taming the freaking Raven horse thingy. And I was like, so is this supposed to be significant to like Native Americans or something like that? Because I'm confused on the whole him breaking this in, and that's supposed to count towards him being able to get free. Also, if he was capable of doing such a thing, why didn't he do it himself in order to get free? Why did they need to instigate it? Hell, it would have made more sense if the main character was to have been the one to have done something like that to prove herself to the guy as well as get him out of his little contract or whatever. But if he was capable of doing it the whole time, then why the fuck would he still be there? Stupid movie. Very stupid movie. But then you had the guy break the little bird thing out. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, hey, go watch the movie. You can see the crap for yourself. But he broke the little bird horse thing and essentially rode it. And then there was a moment where he fell off of it, he ran, and then he jumped back on it. And it was this long, drawn out, slow-mo scene. And it was like, it didn't intensify the action. It didn't make me care about what was going on. I didn't fear that he was going to miss the bird or that he was possibly not going to make it or anything like that. I didn't even give a fuck about the guy because I just seen him and I don't know who he is. But it's this crazy ass shot that it has for that one scene. And then the problem with it in itself is that I would be okay with the shot in itself, but it goes on way too fucking long. Another staple of Zack Snyder's slow-mo issue. And it just carries. It just carries for way too long. And I just sat there going, what the fuck is the point of this scene? Other than to draw out this already long and dumb movie. And that is the issue with Rebel Moon, is that essentially you are dealing with a director who has no idea what the fuck he's doing when it comes towards making a coherent story. Because he can't. He doesn't. He just don't. And so the movie itself has that issue with dealing with that, which is why I say, if someone was to approach you and tell you, hey, they think Rebel Moon was a good movie, and why I was saying what I said earlier, the reason I said it is because all that means is that they were tricked, is that they basically turned off their brain, looked at this movie, and just took and soaked up everything that was given to them without questioning not one damn thing. And that is a horrible way to look at a movie, but also it is just one of the dumbest things that you could possibly have for someone to actually give a fair critique or assessment over. Because it's like, I can't say that it comes from nothing, but essentially it's just that you're entertained regardless. You know, there's like, there is no bad for this. You know, there is no bad with you. There's only, okay, it was okay. And it's like, no, sometimes things are bad. And with Rebel Moon, it's like, listening to the overall assessment of people talking about that it's bad, the critiques that they're given are spot on, because this movie is not a good movie. Now, I will defend this statement. To be upset at this movie because it's not complete is unbelievably stupid, because that's not a critique, right? I'll move, like I said before, you can have something in to where it doesn't finalize something and it keeps you wanting more. TV shows do it all the time. Movies have done this for a long time. It happens. We are now in an age where some people want their shit instant, and so because of that, they get upset when it's not given to them. I've heard someone basically bitch over the fact that Across the Spider-Verse didn't end, but essentially led you on to thinking that there's a sequel because there is a sequel, and it just upset him because of that. And it's like, well, you didn't get your instant gratification. You have to see another movie in order for you to get that instant gratification. That's all that movie did. But that movie did it well to where you were enjoying the movie up until the part where you still wanted more, and it denied you that, which is what it intended to do, what it did, and it was done well. Rebel Moon is a movie that essentially has you just unbelievably bored, not interested in what's going on, not interested in the characters, not interested in the world. It has no world building, has no character development, has no intrigue in it whatsoever. Then it just abruptly ends with the notion that, hey, more is going to come. Even though what it is that's going to come is not interesting in the slightest, because you don't care. So it's not that it's bad because it was like, oh, it's an incomplete movie. It's bad because it's a poorly written movie that then had the audacity to go, there's more. That would be a very good argument. Hell, the movie ends by showing a robot that basically had no significance whatsoever show up with like fucking tree branches around its head, as if like, because it was hiding out all this time, as if that mattered or it did anything. I don't know. I don't care. It didn't matter. The robot showed up, and then rather than it doing something smart and interesting, which would be that he noticed the main chick, or that she would have been the one that he was prophesized waiting for or whatever, then that would have been the reason why he was willing to break his programming or whatever to attack the people, rather than it just be some odd thing that a robot would do on its own, even though it had no understanding or reason of will throughout this entire time. It's not like the motherfucker was C-3PO or R2-D2, where in this world you already are established and you know robots themselves generally have their own train of thought and will. You know, they might be programmed to do one thing and say one thing, but they still speak and act on their own. Fuck. It was like, wow, with this, it was like, no, you literally established these robots don't do anything to anybody, regardless of what happens to them. And then you just have you have this robot do something and then run away. And he's not seen for the rest of the movie until the very end. because later on he's going to be significant. He's voiced by Anthony Hopkins. Aren't I a great filmmaker? No, you're a terrible one. You fucking idiot. Just unbelievably dumb. So this is something though where it's like, yeah, my defense for this movie would be that no, there's no such thing as being mad at a movie for being incomplete. There's such thing as being mad at a movie because of the fact that it's just bad. And this movie is just bad. Yes, it trails on to say that there's going to be another part to it because of course there is. It's Zack Snyder. He's trying to redo Star Wars. But this movie is just not put together well. Poor, like just terribly written. Unbelievable when it comes to the characters, and just unequivocally just the stomach churn of what the fuck am I looking at? And that just sums up everything that Zack Snyder has created on his own, just without fail. It's just so bad. So yeah, go watch it. Because I can't be the only one to suffer. So if you haven't seen it already, by all means, go look at it and let me know what you think. Hey, maybe you liked it. Maybe you happen to be an idiot that just loves anything and everything. But yeah, this is a very, very bad movie. It's a really bad movie. Oh my goodness. I just did not like it. And then the whole time I'm looking at it, I just kept saying to myself, and I didn't want to, because Lord knows I don't want to say this while I'm looking at a movie, but I just kept saying this over and over again while I was looking at this movie.
Remember Star Wars?